Today, I'm going to share with you three things I think you should know when dealing with anger-provoking situations and one method you can use to cope with unforgiveness. Yeah, you're right. I'm Ellis-Dokubo from Vivid Dream again, and this video is part 2 of two-part series. The link to part 1 is in the description box below. Yeah, sometimes when you're about to burst into anger, your body might give you some symptoms, and it's good to be aware of these symptoms because it might enable you to get away from the situation or to take actions before bursting into full-blown anger. Some people find out that they might be wanting to clench their hands or jaws. Some people would have knots in their stomach. Some people would have their heart pounding. Others would find it difficult to concentrate. Some people would want to pace about or have a walk. It is good to get to know these symptoms because, like as I said earlier, you'll be able to do something about the situation. But at other times, you'll be so provoked that you just act on impulse and you get to regret. Most times you act on impulse. It's okay because we are like human beings, these things do happen, but it becomes a problem when it happens frequently. So if that happens frequently with you, then I think it's time for you to check your temper. First thing I think you should do when you're in an anger provoking situation is for you to press your mental pause button. It is said that everybody has an imaginary mental press button. So you press your mental pause button and count to 10. Whilst you're doing that, you're taking deep, slow breath. Authors like Bob and Debbie Gass said, if you count up to 10 and you're still angry, count up to 100. And after 100, if you still feel anger emotions, don't just stop, don't do anything. So meanwhile, you press your imaginary pause button and count to whatever number you have to count to calm down. This helps you not to react on impulse, and taking deep, slow breath enables you to counteract the rising tension within you. Whilst you're taking this deep breath, you do not have to make it obvious to your opponent that you're doing that, because like doing that in itself might aggravate the situation, as your opponent might think that you're expressing aggression. So you just slowly take deep breath and be counting in your mind. Second thing is the realization that you cannot be responsible for other people's behavior, but only for your own behavior. You cannot stop other people from being angry. So the thing you do is you just say to yourself mentally that you cannot control the way the person behaves. So it's up to the person how the person behaves. So long as you're not physically violated, you just let them behave. Sometimes you can even watch as if you're watching a movie or a film. Let them rant and do whatever thing they're doing, so long as physically you're safe and that you're not responding to their aggression in an aggressive way. So just let them rant, and sometimes just get fun looking at them behaving. So that is the second part, which is that you cannot be responsible for other people's behavior, neither can you stop other people from being angry. So what's the point making yourself to be angry because another person is angry? No, it's not worth it. Let them rant, let them be angry, but you be in control of yourself. The third thing for you to realize is that your inner peace and happiness depends on you alone and not on anyone else. So you try as much as possible not to let external factors determine your inner peace and happiness. So if you don't like what you see, you try as much as possible to change the perception of what is happening. This is one of the principles of Dr. Wendy, a renowned motivational speaker and author. He said that if you don't like the way things are happening, or if you don't like the way you perceive things, you have to change your perception of them so that you can feel differently. In my own situation, what I do is I try to see the best in everything as much as possible. You know, sometimes it could be very difficult, and sometimes I just can't say anything good in a situation, in a particular situation I'm facing. When it comes to that level, I will just let it go, and I will just say someday I would see the goodness in it. So try as much as possible not to let external factors determine what you feel or how you respond to things. Just take control of your inner peace and just stand your ground to maintain and protect your peace. Or sometimes you can view an unpleasant situation as a pendulum trying to knock you off your balance. The pendulum expects you to react with frustration and discontent, But if you react differently, the pendulum cannot hook onto you, and that bad situation can be transformed to something positive. To put it in another way, you have to develop a winning attitude towards anger. Charles Ajayi Kiran, in his book The Entrepreneur's Code, talked about winning attitude. He said, your attitude enables you to positively or negatively interpret situations, which detects the way you respond to that situation. So if you develop winning attitude towards anger, you would see that the pendulum cannot hook onto you, and you'll be able to detect the way you respond to the situation. Next, let's talk about one method you can use to cope with unforgiveness. I learned this method when I read the book The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Coven-Shane, and it really did help me go through most aspects of unforgiveness in my life. And she said you can imagine all your painful experiences, all your hurtful events being recorded in a vinyl record. If you're 40 and above, you would be familiar with vinyl record, but if not, if you're younger, you might be familiar with DVD or CD. But in those days, it was vinyl record that was used. She said, imagine that all these hurtful situations in your life is recorded in this vinyl record, and that record has been shattered to pieces. So whenever any hurtful situation tries to rear itself in your mind, you just tell it that the record has been broken, that it cannot be replayed. So with me, I would just, like, in my mind, I would just say, I'm sorry, that record has been broken and can never be mended. So there is no way I can play a broken record. Or sometimes I would say, by my spoken word, I insist that you stop repeating playing broken record in my life. Or sometimes I can just say, I have been there, I've done there, and I've moved on. Because yes, sometimes the emotions of resentment, anger, and unforgiveness can be soothing. So when it comes to your mind, you just say, you've been there and you know something better. You've moved on. What is that better thing? The better thing is your peace of mind. There is nothing better than that. So you just give that thing that is trying to remind you of those hurtful situations that you've moved on, that that emotion no longer serves you. When you practice this method, at a point you find out that things that you had forgotten a long time ago would rear up itself in your mind. And when this happens, know that you're beginning to rid yourself of unforgiveness. Sometimes when it happens to me, I will just tell myself, I will say, wow, where is this coming from? Because it might be something that I had forgotten that had happened a long time ago. I didn't know that it was lodged in my subconscious mind. And because I have been trying to let go of recent events in my mind that I think I should forgive about, when that is done, the older ones will try to rear up its head, will try to come up for you to feel angry again. So when that comes to your mind, just say, well, the record cannot be played again. It is broken. Just always be aware when thoughts of unforgiveness and anger rears itself in your mind, because once you're aware of it, you're not feeding it. You will just do things that would remove your mind from that thought, or do other things to occupy yourself instead of dwelling in those painful events. Unforgiveness, as with anger, might be difficult to overcome, but you need to forgive anytime the issue that is hurting you rears up itself in your mind. Complete healing might take weeks, months, or years, but you need to purpose in your heart to keep forgiving until you're free from their influence. Yes, I mean free from the person's influence or the situation's influence, because so long as you're holding that unforgiveness in your mind, you're holding yourself bondage and the person bondage as well. So you have to break free of their influence in your life by forgiving them, no matter what they've taken from you in terms of like betrayal, abandonment, lies, deceit. Unforgiveness is going to take much more from you. So just try and let go. and just enjoy your freedom, because that's going to give you peace of mind. And with this, I would like to say bye for now. But before I finish, I know that most of you have different ways of coping with anger and unforgiveness. If you have any method that is worked for you, I would really appreciate it if you can put it in the description comment box below, so that other viewers and myself can learn from it. So with that, I have to say bye for now. Take care of yourselves and love you. Take care. Bye bye. Don't forget to press the like button and the subscribe button if you do like it. Thank you so much. Bye.